mic muted, of course. And apologize if I sound a little sick. I am a little sick, got a little cold or something. Let me pan this just a little bit. All right, so I'll just get right into it here. So Matt Taibbi, who most of you are probably familiar with, just launched another Twitter Files Drop, Part 6. The FBI Subsidiary. Here, let me just do this. So yeah, another drop that is gonna hopefully here. I haven't even looked at it yet, guys. It just dropped about 15 minutes ago, well, half an hour ago now. I glanced through it just like very briefly, so I haven't really seen it yet. I'm seeing it the first time with you guys. So the Twitter files are revealing more every day about how the government collects, analyzes, and flags your social media content. Twitter's content with FBI. Excuse me. Twitter's contact with the FBI was constant and pervasive, as if it were a subsidiary. That's interesting. And it goes right along with a lot of the stuff that we've, been hearing already from the whistleblowers, from Zuckerberg himself. So a lot of this stuff is going to confirm that. Not that it'll matter a whole lot when it comes to the media, of course. Between January 2020 and November 2022, there were over 150 emails between the FBI and former Twitter Trust and Safety Chief Yoel Roth. The Zoomer, sounds like Zoomer. I don't know if I can say it. I'm too scared in this environment that we're here in on YouTube. Let's see here. Some are mundane, like San Francisco agent Elvis Chan wishing Roth a happy new year, along with a reminder to attend our quarterly call next week. Others are requests for information into Twitter users related to active investigations. Now, just wait to see where that goes, because I did read into that portion of it. Welcome everybody, by the way. Let's see who we got here real quick. We got Internet God, of course, right off the bat. What are you doing, man? You just like sitting at home and you get the notification on your phone or something? Surfer 10, yo. Gitter did it. Gitter did. Let's do this. Took my dog to the dog groomer yesterday. I hope I'm not in trouble. Anyway, so back to this. Hi. So far, he's basically laying out that it's going to be interesting because the media's sort of deflection, they were kind of celebrating that, there's no evidence of government involvement in this push to suppress stories that were damaging to Democrats. Probably a lot more. Investigating people for exercising their free speech rights. Renegade Biker, what's up? And I'm sorry if I'm sniffling a lot, guys. My nose is really stuffed up. It's rotted. I'm not feeling great. But a surprisingly high number are requests by the FBI for Twitter to take action on election misinformation, even involving joke tweets from low follower accounts. So, not actual election misinformation, just like jokes and memes. And not just jokes and memes, but jokes and memes on Twitter accounts and posts that are low. There's no engagement. These are no follower accounts with no engagement on the post. And yet the FBI is reaching out to Twitter to take action on these posts. Very weird. Seems like at the very least a serious waste of time there and resources. What's up, Cujo? And Salty Siren, what's up? The FBI social media task force, known as FTIF, created in the wake of the 2016 election, swelled to 80 agents. And think about that. It's just another example of it's different when they call elections stolen. Like all this action's taken when they lose the election, but that's called, that's a threat to democracy when the other side does it. So this FTIF swelled to 80 agents and corresponded with Twitter to identify alleged foreign influence and election tampering of all kinds. Little hair of the dog that bit me. I went to my wife's Christmas office party last night, and it was at a brewery. And I had a lot of double hazy IPAs. Not feeling great. On top of the cold I have. So, let's see here. Federal intelligence and law enforcement reach into Twitter. Their reach into Twitter included the Department of Homeland Security, what the hell, which partnered with security contractors and think tanks to pressure Twitter to moderate content. Okay, so that's government involvement. And this is what we always knew it was. You know, it's funny, that's the go-to excuse for the left and the media people is, oh, well, the government's not doing it. This is a private company. You don't have First Amendment on there, on Twitter and the private company because they can dictate what's on there and moderate the content. But it turns out, although, you know, when it happens to them, as you've seen, Elon banned some reporters because they were breaking Twitter's TOS about doxing, got multiple warnings, still did it, got banned, Keith Olbermann being one of them, and they're all just bitching and complaining all day today how unfair it is. It's just mind-blowing because all these same people were cheering it on when it was going on to their opponents. And so we kind of already knew that there was that, and well, you know, that's their go-to excuse. And then you find out that, 50 intelligence officers say the Hunter Biden story is Russian disinformation. So that's already weird. And then you got the whistleblowers and everything else. So it's really looking like they were tampering. Federal intelligence and law enforcement reach into Twitter, including, I just read that one. It's no secret the government analyzes bulk data for all sorts of purposes, including from tracking terror suspects to making economic forecasts. Welcome, everybody, by the way. This just dropped about 30 minutes ago. Matt Taibbi is releasing all this. The Twitter file shows something new. Agencies like the FBI and DHS are regularly sending social media content to Twitter through multiple entry points, pre-flagged for moderation. So it's like almost like the FBI and DHS are like, you know, Twitter is their tool to use to silence whatever they want. And of course, this all goes one way for the most part. What stands out is the sheer quantity of reports from the government. Some are aggregated from public hotlines. Oh, okay, from this, okay. So you got like, no doubt, like Antifa and, you know, MoveOn.org and all these different leftist organizations, media people calling this stuff constantly, sending in tips. An unanswered question. Do agencies like FBI and DHS do in-house flagging work themselves or farm it out? Probably. I mean, they're going to have some sort of plausible deniability or separation from it. You have to prove to me that inside the fucking government you can do any kind of massive data or AI search, says one former intelligence officer. So I'm just trying to understand that. You have to prove to me that inside the fucking government, that's what I'm confused. I guess this is, I have to come back to that. I'm not really sure. I'm not sure if you guys get that. Hello, Twitter contacts. The master canine quality of the FBI's relationship to Twitter comes through in this November 2022 email in which the FBI San Francisco is notifying you it wants action on 4 accounts. Looks like just a bunch of pointless accounts. Twitter personnel in that case went on to look for reasons to suspend all 4 accounts, including, who is this person? Okay. Oh, okay. Okay, so he's like a satirist. Okay, satirist. Whose tweets are almost all jokes. Okay, including his civic misinformation on November 8th. Okay, so he... Okay, so this would have been a left-wing person. Want to remind Republicans to vote tomorrow. I mean, that's still concerning anyway, but FBI folks, I've reviewed this already from Trust and Safety Department, I guess, perspective, and suspended 3 accounts for multiple account abuse on ban evasion violations. So they just look for it's so much like police officers who arrest people on nothing, and they start like hassling people, and then they just find reasons. You see that a lot on like First Amendment audit videos where the auditor is recording from a public sidewalk or something, and the cop's like, oh, you gotta go, you can't record here. And they're like, no, I can record whatever I can see. And then they start looking for like trespass violations, or they start trying to solicit trespasses, which they're not supposed to do. And it's just funny that they're just like reaching for some reason to arrest, and Twitter is doing kind of the same thing here, it looks like. Just to show the FBI can be hyper intrusive, which we already knew. I mean, we know they're looking for any reason to ban us, right? I mean, just anything. Just to show the FBI can be hyper intrusive in both directions, they also asked Twitter to review a blue leading account for a different joke, except here it was even more obvious that Claire Foster, PhD, who kids a lot, was kidding. Maoist centrist, yeah. So the FBI was going after people who are clearly joking on both sides, left and right. I mean, she's not super funny or anything, but comedy is subjective, so. Anyone who cannot discern obvious satire from reality has no place making decisions for others or working for the feds, said Claire Foster, PhD, when told about the flagging. Of the 6 accounts mentioned in the previous 2 emails, all but 2 were suspended. And then they sent him another list. Oh, look who's on there. We got... You guys, can you guys see this stuff, or do I need to make it bigger? Here, crap, I don't know how to make it just that screen. Let's see if we know any names on here. RSB Network, that's one of them. Most of these, though... Most of these I'm not familiar with, personally. I don't know if you guys can see them. Just seems like what are they doing? Like, the FBI has nothing better to do. And anyway, that is a violation. The government is not supposed to be putting their finger on the scale in that way. They're just not. But they just justify it by saying, oh, we're fortifying. And but it's just like, all you have to do is switch it around. It's like, would they be cool with it if the other side was doing it? Of course not. We see that over and over. We see it right now with the Elon banning those reporters for doxing TOS violations. So they do it with like, it's unreal to me. Like, you get Oliver Darcy on there saying, oh, this is dangerous. The journalists are getting banned, and communist or authoritarian regimes out there are seeing what Elon's doing, and they're going to take note. It's like, are you kidding me? Like, if that were the case, they're already looking at U.S. media and how they operated in 2020 with Twitter and everything. So it's like, do you not realize Oliver Darcy had no problem with anybody on the right being suspended or banned, and in fact, he was just one of a lot of people on that side who said it's a private company, they can do whatever they want. Go get your own platform. And you're seeing a lot of that now. There's a lot of schadenfreude on this. I'm kind of loving it, but it's funny because it's almost like Elon does it to show them, it's almost like Rush Limbaugh used to do. He used to always demonstrate absurdity by being absurd. And that's what Elon's attempting to do here, but it won't work. These people are impenetrable. Anyway, Agent Chan passed the list onto his Twitter folks. So this is an FBI agent, Elvis Chan, emailing to Twitter saying, please see below a list of Twitter accounts which we believe are violating your terms of service. They're like tattletales. What the hell? Hall monitors. By disseminating false information about the time, place, and manner of upcoming elections. These were jokes from obvious satirists. Like, the accounts were obvious satire. It's just dumb. Let us know. And the one that did the Republican joke, he was a Republican. He's a right-leaning one. And then the left one was like a left one. So they both were like doing it to their own side. So it was like obviously a joke. Not a funny joke, but, you know, it was. Please see a below list of Twitter accounts. Let us know if you decide to take any actions against these accounts based on our tipper to you. Our tipper to you. Also, let us know if we need... That's so weird. Was that a typo? Our tipper? A tipper typo? Also, let us know if we need to issue a preservation letter as we intend to serve legal process for these accounts. What? That's crazy. Like, that is insane. Legal action against comedians for joking? Wow. That's crazy. And I love this is from San Francisco. It's supposed to be like the pinnacle of progression and progressivism. It's all, you know, another thing about San Francisco, it's also the favorite recruiting grounds for the CCP for spies in America. Their number one spot. They also target Democrats to plant their spies in that area. So it's San Francisco. So that's, you know, probably not a coincidence. Twitter then replied with its list of actions taken. Note, mercy shown to actor Billy Baldwin. Thank you for your patience. Our team has assessed the accounts that you flagged. We've completed our review and taken the following actions. So they permanently suspended these folks who I'm not really familiar with. A Trump account or something, Brett Barker. Temporarily suspended. Had tweets bounced for civic misinformation. Okay, so I mean, these accounts just seem like, it's like he said earlier. He said that these are low engagement accounts, low engagement posts. Is it really worth the FBI's? I mean, the FBI is violating, or at least really getting close to violating the First Amendment. Is it really worth it for that? Many of the above accounts were satirical in nature. Nearly all, with the exception of Baldwin and RSB Network, were relatively low engagement. And some were suspended, most with generic thanks Twitter letter. When told of the FBI flagging, I'm not sure who this person is, replied, my thoughts initially include, seems like seems like a First Amendment violation. Holy cow. Me, an account with the reach of an almost amoeba. What else are they looking at? Oh, okay, that's one of the people that was banned. Yeah, exactly. Why is the FBI? It's just like the DOJ and the DHS going after parents at school board meetings. Like, what is that about? It's like if there's a terrorist, it's weird that there hasn't been a terrorist attack. It seems like our FBI and our military are very distracted at the moment. In a letter to former Deputy General Counsel and former top FBI lawyer Jim Baker, legal exec Stacia Cardile outlines results from her soon-to-be weekly meeting with DHS, DOJ, and FBI. Oh, look, the same groups. And the Office of the Director of National Intelligence. Oh my God. I mean, think about that. Like a meeting between all these major institutions, the DHS, the DOJ, FBI, and the Director of National Intelligence to deal with some people that have like no followers, no engagement. The Twitter exec writes, okay, so that was a Twitter executive, I guess. The Twitter executive writes, she explicitly asked if there were impediments to sharing of classified information with industry. The answer, FBI was adamant no impediments existed. This passage underscores the unique one big happy family vibe between Twitter and the FBI. With what other firm would the FBI blithely agree to no impediments to classified information? True. That's pretty weird, right? Like, the FBI is going to share classified information. Like, they must be very sure that it's safe. Probably because there's FBI maybe informants working there, FBI agents working there. We know that there were lots of people connected to politicians and to the FBI, to Fauci, working at Twitter, working at with the trust and safety team. That's crazy. And I would say that's probably why. I mean, they knew it was basically an FBI operation going on at Twitter. It sounds like, which is freaky. I mean, I just think about what would happen if it was Trump was president and this was all going on, but it was affecting the Democrats. I mean, it would be a major big deal. There would be nonstop news about it. They would use it to rally huge protests across the country, probably around the world. They'd be like, "Oh my God, it's an authoritarian system rising up in America, and we have to stop it." I mean, who knows what would happen? But when they do it to us, it's just like crickets. Nothing happens. And that, you know, what can happen? It's hard because the media is just, they're kind of the gatekeepers of that, and they can keep it at bay because as long as Fox News, they can always just demonize the few that are standing up and saying something about it as extremists, and for a lot of the country that works. At the bottom of the letter, she insists a series of escalations apparently raised at the meeting, which were already handled. That's a separate article. About one, she writes, flagged the specific tweet on Illinois use of modems to transmit election results and possible violation of civic integrity policy. Except they do use that tech in limited circumstances, right? I was pretty sure that was real. Let's see what this other article is here. That's... Welcome, everybody. Okay, that's a weird link, and it's not going anywhere. Another internal letter. See, and yeah, this is annoying. So they flagged a tweet on Illinois' use of modems to transmit election results. They're saying it's... So they flagged that tweet saying that it was misinformation, but it's not misinformation. It's... because they do use that technology in limited circumstances, like Matt's saying. That's what's dangerous about saying, like, oh, we are the police of truth and misinformation, because depending on who it is, and we see who it is that are the ones being judges of this. It's always these far left nutcases every single time. Another internal letter from January 2021 shows Twitter execs processing an FBI list of possible volatile content tweets. Oh, okay. Like, comic book nerd, like, these just seem like small accounts again. Okay, yeah, so these were the tweets. It was just like some bot posts from low engagement, you know, low follower accounts. In March 2021 email, an FBI liaison thanks a senior Twitter exec for the chance to speak to you and the team, then delivers a packet of products to you and the team. They're a team. They're working together. The government is using Twitter. Twitter is doing the suppression and censorship on behalf of the government. It's pretty clear. I swear, the Republicans better do something about this. I know they're not, but... The executive circulates the products, which are really DHS bulletins, stressing the need for greater collaboration between law enforcement and private sector partners. The ubiquity of 2016 Russian interference story has stated pretext for building out the censorship machine can't be overstated. It analogs to how 9/11 inspired expansion of the security state. Yeah, totally. I mean... The thing about the Russian interference thing, and I brought this up before, it's so easy to debunk it. And it's so transparent that you'd never, like, anytime you watch any kind of media exchanges on this topic, they never ask, like, to what extent did Russia's ads on Pokemon Go and on Facebook, to what extent did those have any influence whatsoever? And the answer is they have no idea. I mean, it could be huge influence. I'd seriously doubt that, because the money they spent on those two platforms, or whatever platform, it was a very small amount, compared to what they were spending here on ads and everything else. So the most likely is that it had zero influence, and there's no evidence whatsoever of that. So, and you'll never hear them ask that, because doing that would, any critical thinker is going to be like, yeah, you got to kind of dismiss that for the most part then, because, I mean, you could say that about any election, that there was some sort of like, there was misinformation about a candidate or something. That's what caused, that interference caused the election to be lost for them. But there's no way of really telling that. You know what we can tell? We can tell at least pretty good idea of it, that the suppression of that story before the election did have an effect, because there were, I think, around 17% of voters that would have voted differently. So there, we at least have a number, 17%, but does it get the same attention by the media? No. While DHS and its products pans permissive social media for offering operational advantages to Russians, it also explains that the domestic violent extremist threat requires addressing information gaps. The FBI in one case sent over so many possible violative. Am I saying? That's a weird word. I don't really know. Possible violative content reports. Twitter personnel congratulated each other and Slack for the monumental undertaking of reviewing them. Monumental undertaking. They probably just like mass like deleted stuff, just like Control A, delete. There were multiple points of entry into Twitter for government flagged reports. This letter from Agent Chan to Roth references Teleporter, a platform through which Twitter could receive reports from the FBI. Oh, okay. They're doing this all very secretly, right? It's not very. They're looking for all these ways of being vague, not really saying what they're doing, read a lot of reading between the lines going on, and now they want like these sort of underground backdoor ways of communicating. See, if we had an actual uncorrupted media, they would be all over this story. I mean, it's just an actual reporter, an actual journalist would be all over this, but that's why Matt Taibbi and these guys are doing it, because they're actual reporters. Which is also why they've come under attack by the fake ones. Reports also came from different agencies. Here, an employee recommends bouncing content based on evidence from DHS. I wish we knew what it was they were actually talking about. I mean, are they talking about Hunter here? State governments also flag content. So government's heavily involved in this. Get rid of this. Get rid of this. If you can't say the government's not doing it, because the government's just telling them what to do it, and these people are just lockstep because they're all ideological allies. Twitter, for instance, received reports via the Partner Support Portal, an outlet created by the Center for Internet Security, a partner organization to the DHS. God, this seems like a Hydra monster being created here. Why was no action being taken? Below, Twitter execs receiving an alert from California officials by way of our Partner Support Portal, debate whether to act on Trump tweet. So the government's asking this. They're putting this message in. Why was no action taken? To clarify, is there ask for Twitter to review or to explain why no action was taken upon previous review? Oh, okay, so they're saying that no action was taken because it just came through our partner support portal. Like we wouldn't take action from receiving this from here, but for whatever reason, the government was sending it this way, maybe just by mistake. Who knows? Seems like that'd be a less secure way to do it. Here, a video was reported by Election Integrity Project at Stanford, apparently on the strength of information from the Center of Internet Security. It's a very long and legal heavy video, but essentially it claims that PA election workers opened their inner envelopes and ballots before election day and called people to correct their ballots prior to election day. According to CIS, misrepresents these things. If that's yeah, I'm reading it and I'm not really sure what he's saying here. Sounds like what this person's saying in the video is correct, and they're confirming this, yet saying that they're misrepresenting. If that's confusing, it's because the CIS is a DHS contractor, describes itself as partners with the Cyber and Internet Security Agency. It is a Hydra. This stuff's gonna be buried so deep, so much plausible deniability. The EIP is one of a series of government-affiliated think tanks that mass review content. A list that also includes the Atlantic Council Digital Forensics Research Laboratory and the University of Washington Center for Informed Policy. The takeaway, most of what people think of as the deep state is really just a tangled collaboration of state agencies, private contractors, and sometimes state-funded NGOs. The lines become so blurred as to be meaningless. Yeah, it's like... Exactly, that's what I was saying about the FBI being so heavily involved. Not just the FBI, but Department of Homeland Security, the Department of Justice, and then all these other agencies that have like branched off of that and have like, it's like intermingling of Twitter, the big tech outlets, and the government. And it's like they're one and the same. It's just one big monster. And I guess it's always going to be in favor of whoever controls it. And so far, it looks like the left has controlled it up till now. And the reaction to Elon and everything he's doing tells me he's probably over the target. He's probably correct. He's probably the good guy in all this. I mean, I never trust anybody, especially not the richest man in the world. But here, he seems to be doing the right thing. So let's see. What's this? There's something else happening. So that's it for that. What do you guys think? So I think to summarize this, I think I'm correct, but essentially that's what it's showing, is that the FBI was heavily involved in Twitter. Twitter was heavily involved with not just the FBI, but multiple different agencies, and then groups, subgroups that had branched off of those, all these different think tanks and private contracting groups. And all of them were working, and going based on past Twitter file releases, we do know that, like this sort of pointed out, that they were kind of going after, like there are like sort of like token examples of them going after the left, people on the left, but it was like examples like that I just showed you, these low engagement channels that were obvious satire, that they took jokes and said that was misinformation. When it came to politicians and big influencers and that kind of thing, it was mostly, the vast majority of it was on the right. That's where all the censorship was happening. It was not happening on the left, which they've been clear about. So they're clear about that it was definitely focused on the right and was definitely involving the government. Now, will this make any difference? I don't know. I doubt it. Excuse me. Not feeling good if you're just showing up. Yeah. Yeah, that's really weird too. That's another kind of clue to that, is that they were not. The FBI had no problems with sharing classified information with Twitter executives. It's a pretty close relationship, right? So I'm waiting for this. There's some sort of on Spaces. There's going to be something. I was going to live stream that. I thought it would be going on now. Oh wait, maybe it is going on at Barry Weiss. Okay, she's not doing it yet. But I might live stream that when it's going on. What do y'all think? I think that's. I mean, I think this is huge stuff. But it's kind of yeah, it's a little depressing that probably nothing will come of it, because for that to happen, our entire media would have to erupt and stand up for their principles for once and hold their power accountable and check themselves, which we all know is not going to happen. But this is great information. So good on Barry Weiss and Matt Taibbi and Elon Musk, because the FBI and these agencies are corrupt as hell. The Republicans better do something about this. I know they're talking about investigations and hearings and committees and all this stuff, but you know, I feel like Republicans do that mostly just so they can do like they get their clips on YouTube and Twitter and everywhere of owning the libs, and that's all we get out of it. We just get this quick dopamine rush out of seeing them ask tough questions and the Democrats squirm. It's like, oh, but then nothing ever happens. So probably what we can expect this time around. I hate to say that, but just reading some comments here. Let's see what else is going on. What time is it? 5:08. I was gonna stream for about an hour, but Winter of Death. Oh yeah, she's running again. Oh yeah, you guys can't see this, but anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and end the stream. That was shorter. I thought there was a lot more to the Twitter file release, but so that was it. Make of it what you will. There is a link to it in the description if you guys want to go and read it yourself and comment. While you're there, you might as well go ahead and follow me on Twitter as well. You can find all the information in the description and in the pinned comment. So thanks.